And the topic of this week's exciting conversation, again on the subject of religion, is going through the major religions of the world, identifying their specific arguments or stigma against mediumship, and obviously, the two friendly mediums will, with banter, give counter arguments. And if anybody wants to burn us at the stake after this broadcast, don't bother looking for us because we've gone into hiding.
Hello again.
Hi, everyone. We are here.
Just when you thought you could get rid of us, here we are back again.
Exactly. And go ahead.
No, yeah. Who am I to?
We both said "and" at the same time. I should have said "Jinx." Anyway, we're talking about all the world's major religions and how all of them have conflicting views on mediumship within the same holy text.
Now, Devi, I'm going to have to pick you up on that because spiritualism itself is a religion, and that is totally behind mediumship. So there's at least one religion out there that's sane.
And actually, paganism, people are generally open to that as well. So,
but paganism is not a religion; it's a collection of beliefs.
It's just like Christianity isn't a religion.
Oh, come on! There's only 38,000 versions.
Exactly. So paganism doesn't even have 38,000. Well, they may, but.
So anyway, that's what we're talking about tonight, folks. We are expecting a riot, and as I said in the intro, we're going into hiding. But before we do that, let's bring you up to date with, yes, you've got it, our news and information. So, as you probably, if you've been watching us on a regular basis, or if you're going back and watching the other videos, you'll see that the video's sort of format has been evolving. Devi sort of was beating my head, pointing out that the music that I had chosen, because it's one of the great national British pieces of music, you know, Land of Hope and Glory. If you don't believe me, go on YouTube and do a search for Night of the Proms. It's an event that gets done once a year in London. They have big orchestras, they play all sorts of music. And the last night it's called Last Night of the Proms. It's the most energetic you've ever seen a British crowd, including Scottish, although it is in London. And the greatest music that they play at that is Land of Hope and Glory. And when you see us singing and playing that, you'll understand what it means to be British. But that's an aside.
I do understand, except in America, it's pomp and circumstance and used for graduation. So.
Well, we're a training company, so I don't see what the
problem is. Sort of, maybe, sort of.
But since we teach Scottish mediumship, we will be looking for some online Scottish music that isn't copyright that we can alter the video. Other bits and pieces, major news. We've been talking about AI for God knows how long. We actually started work today, or the company that we've hired to work for us have actually started today. We had a big sit-down meeting on Zoom, surprise, going through all the nuts and bolts. And wait for it, please, don't get too excited, ladies. But we're calling the AI personality Rain because it always rains in Scotland, and we're trying to give it the personality of Sean Connery. Sean Connery, yeah. So to any living relations of Sean Connery, we do apologise. We're not using his voice. We're just basing the personality since he's an iconic Scotsman, much like myself, an iconic Scotsman, much like me.
Well, not yet, but we're working on it.
But my personality would be a little bit too overbearing. So that's what we're going to try and base the personality on. So I am expecting all you ladies out there that are interested in mediumship, when this personality goes online, I want you to come and say hello and give us some feedback about how realistic it is as good old Sean. We're not going to call him Sean, though. The name is going to be Rain.
Rain.
If you're local to Pennycook, you may have noticed that in the last couple of days, I have been carrying boxes in and out of the reading room, the head office. I've been installing a new computer, and that has been causing all sorts of problems with printers and keyboards and XYZ. Other than that, don't really have too much news to give. So let's get back to what we want to talk about.
Yeah.
So you want to go first, or will I?
You go ahead. You start.
Okay. Well, oh no, hold on. We jokingly talked about spiritualism as a religion. Now, if there's anybody out there that's got any doubts, let me prove to you that it does have churches, because here's a very short video of me working in a spiritualist church.
So I will come to you, I will ask if I can work with you, you'll say yes or no. If the answer is no, I'll move on to the next person. I will give you 3-4 bits of evidence. I'll ask you, do you know who that is? Give me a yes, no, maybe. If the answer is yes, I will then give you the message from the loved one. I am not going to tell you that your mother loves you. So if you've come here, if you've come here to get that kind of message, unless there's a reason for that being the message, I won't waste your time.
Now, that was me working in First Temple Spiritualist Church in October. Holiday video, go to our website, look at all the videos of us. And in case you don't, well, here's another one.
That's me.
And at the beach, and it's cold and windy, and I'm very glad I'm wearing sweaters on leather coats. I don't know how Mark is dealing with it, but he's from Scotland, so he's used to it.
Yes, I am free. Trust me.
Well, good. I'm glad he's cold. This is a beautiful place. I love it here. I really do. I like the energy, and the houses are fabulous. I wouldn't mind living here.
Now, that was the two of us in Lilydale, which has, believe it or not, 4 spiritualist churches in one place. And given that they only have a population of about 250, that's quite phenomenal. But let's put that aside. It's probably the highest concentration of spiritualist churches in America. So now that we've established that spiritualism is a real religion, let's get on and talk about other religions. So
I apologize for the dog barking in the background.
he wants to take part in the debate. Christianity. Now, we jokingly said that Debbie and I, there's about 48,000 different versions of Christianity. The number goes up and down depending on what day you look on Google. But anyway, there's tens of thousands of denominations of Christianity. Many Christian denominations, including the Roman Catholics, which is the biggest, I don't know what percentage, but probably a third to half of all Christians would be Roman Catholic. And a lot of Protestant branches condemn mediumship, associating it with divination and practices considered contrary to the honor due to God alone. Counter argument to that, Debbie? You have to, Debbie, you have to put the mute back off. You're on mute.
What?
Debbie,
Sorry
you're on
about
mute.
that. I was trying to save y'all from the dog barking. Some Christian perspectives suggest that certain spiritual gifts, such as prophecy and discernment of spirits, may involve elements similar to mediumship. These gifts are viewed as divinely inspired and intended for the edification of the church. So basically, as long as you use it for the church, it's okay. So that distinguishes them from the condemned practices.
I just want to clarify, are you saying when I do private readings, people, book me? So when I do private readings, you're saying that I'm not working for charitable gods?
Apparently not, no.
Okay.
Some argue that a genuine mediumship is a natural gift from God, akin to a talent for music, and can be used legitimately within a Christian context, though. So there are some that say it's okay.
That's very narrow to say use it in a Christian context. What if you're not Christians like you?
Exactly. I don't know. As long as they are using it in a Christian context, I suppose.
Okay. So just to be absolutely clear, since somebody phoned you up asking for a love spell today, we're going to burn you at the stake.
Oh, thanks. Hopefully that doesn't come back into vogue.
Okay. Right, so let's move on. Islam. Now, I really don't know that. You can probably gather that we're reading this out. We did some search online to get this so that we can try and be a wee bit accurate. Stigma. Engaging in practices like mediumship is generally considered shirk. Now, I don't know what shirk means. Associating partners with Allah, and is strictly forbidden. No, that's interesting. I didn't actually know that.
Yes. Says here that the counter arguments, Islamic tradition acknowledges the existence of spirits and the possibility of interaction with them. For instance, it is believed that souls have some relationship with their graves, and pious individuals may experience visions or contact with the souls of deceased people. These experiences are considered real in the sense that what transpires is true. So it sounds like they actually do mediumship, but don't call it that. They assume it's divinely inspired.
I find that confusing, actually.
It is confusing.
It seems to contradict. It literally seems to be contradicting itself. You can do mediumship, but doing mediumship is evil. That's what it sounds like.
Well, that's what they all sound like.
Yeah. Okay, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, if we didn't give the counter arguments, it would say that mediumship was horrible. But they all are contradicting stuff in their texts. So.
Okay, so on to the next major. I mean, I suppose we're doing the three books, the three faiths of the book,
right?
The Great Bible. So Judaism,
the stigma is that necromancy and consulting spirits are explicitly prohibited in the Torah, and such practices are viewed as very sinful.
So there's okay, all right. They're not saying it's the same thing. I was thinking they were saying that speaking to spirits was necromancy.
They are.
No, they said necromancy.
Necromancy and consulting spirits, but yeah. Necromancy, what we do really is necromancy. It falls under that umbrella.
Oh no, I don't. I can't take that. I mean,
well, we can talk. I mean, no. It actually does.
No, come on. We're here
speaking with the dead.
That's not necromancy. I thought necromancy was or am I got the wrong definition? I thought necromancy was witchcraft.
Well, it's a part of witchcraft. I know you don't want to be associated with that, but that's what we're doing.
But I don't think that is witchcraft. I mean, witchcraft is love spell. You're going to love me.
That's not all of what witchcraft is about.
But it's a large part of it.
It's also divination and mediumship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, we should be marketing ourselves to witches then.
I do.
Okay, so what's next? Hinduism.
So, you got to give the counter arguments for Judaism.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. While mainstream Judaism prohibits necromancy, Jewish mysticism, particularly, excuse me if I get this pronunciation wrong, Kabbalah, okay, explores concepts of communicating with spiritual entities. However, these practices are esoteric and not representative of normative Jewish practice. So they're basically saying...
Also, just knowing from my personal background, that it's usually the Orthodox Jews who read the tarot, like the evangelical Christians who read the Torah like it is, everything and must be obeyed.
So akin to the attitude of the evangelist Christians then?
Yes. So the more modern Jewish people probably don't care.
Okay. So when we're marketing to Israel and the Middle East, do we have any way of narrowing down which practice of which religion? No. Ignore me. Okay, so let's get away from the three faiths of the books then. Hinduism. Mainstream Hinduism typically discourages attempts to contact spirits of the deceased, viewing them as potentially harmful. Now, that at least is coming up with a reason for not doing it.
Exactly.
So, okay, so I can understand that because, I mean, when we are teaching people mediumship, we are always trying to teach them to understand that when you die, sometimes it can be traumatic, and sometimes a lot of people don't make the right connections to get crossover to the other side, and we tend to refer to those people as lost spirits, and it is literally speaking to somebody that's temporarily insane, and that's where a lot of the evil spirit stories come from.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so obviously at some point in the past, like the story, like the jokes we were telling last week about a medium getting a message and starting a religion, that's a bit more rational. They've had messages, they recognize them as spirits, and because they don't understand what they're doing,
they call them witches, yes.
Okay, right, okay, so
let's see what the counter argument is. It says certain Hindu traditions involve rituals and ceremonies aimed at appeasing ancestors and spirits. Absolutely. Indicating a cultural acceptance of communication with the spiritual realm, under specific controlled circumstances.
Okay. And again, that's exactly what we teach as mediums.
Exactly. But that's, I mean, they're controlled circumstances or certain rituals and things like that, not just.
Yeah, but
we do,
again,
but yeah.
I mean, when we're in a circle, we teach the ground, we teach to open. Now, I could go to 100 different mediums that are running 100 different circles, and they would all have a different, let's call it a ceremony. It's not a ceremony, but opening meditation.
Yes,
opening
the
methodology.
Hindus actually do have ceremonies.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
but
yeah, that's the difference between what we do and them.
But actually, no, I would disagree with that, because you know what my attitude is towards katra, not katra, what's it called? These stupid things in your body. Oh God, sorry, it's too late at night. You know,
chakras.
Yeah. You know my attitude towards chakras. Now, the majority of mediums believe in chakras. So to me, that's a formalized ceremony. It's a metaphorical ceremony for believing that spirit communicates.
It just depends on what you do with your chakras. And if you open and align every time before doing a mediumship session, yeah, and then that's a ritual. And I do actually. So,
exactly. Yeah. So basically, on a bigger scale, they're doing something that we ourselves do on a smaller scale, on an individual basis, differently.
Yes.
All they've done is just taken it together, put some mumbo jumbo around it to say why they do it. So, okay, right. So Hinduism needs a closer look at. Okay, Buddhism.
Oh dear.
Okay, engaging with spirits is often seen as a distraction from the path to enlightenment and is generally discouraged. Now, again, they're not against it. They're just saying it's a distraction.
It's a distraction, absolutely. The counter argument is that in some Buddhist traditions, like Tibetan Buddhism, there are practices involving oracles and spirit mediums, suggesting a more complex relationship with mediumship within certain sects of Buddhism. There are so many different sects, like there are Christianity, probably not 38,000, but a good number of them. And some of them apparently assume that mediumship and oracle is a good thing. So.
Well, from my perspective as a practice, okay, I'm not in any way, not going to say in any way I'm an expert in Buddhism. However, my wife is Chinese, and when I go and visit her family with her every couple of so years, we go to Xi'an, which is the capital of Buddhism in China. They've got more Buddhist, and we're not talking Buddhist temples like a wee corner shop. We're talking things that occupy like 6 square miles. They're more like.
I would love to see that.
Yeah. I mean, if you could describe a religious, I'm being very sarcastic here, and I'm not trying to insult either Disneyland or Buddhism, but if you can imagine a religious Disneyland, that's what these temples are like. The scale of them is so big.
I've seen pictures, so yeah. I know.
I'll get some videos for one of the maybe since we're doing religion, I'll get some of my holiday snapshots together maybe for next week. But that aside, there's a Buddhist temple in Scotland, and Dunfermline Spiritualist Church, which I'm a member of, every couple of years gets a bus load, and everybody from the church gets onto the bus, and they drive down, zigzagging through country lanes to get to this Buddhist location.
Yeah.
And they roll the red carpet out when they know the spiritualists are coming, because they see us as very akin to what they do. So that makes a lot of sense, actually. Counterweight in some. Oh, that was the counterweight. Okay. Africa. Oh, now before we go any further, let me just put a little video up. Please, people, wherever you're seeing this video, it's going on YouTube and it's going on about 6 different Facebook pages. Subscribe, follow, like, comment, share, whatever's appropriate, because it helps build us up, and that's why we're doing it. We're not mass marketing this to get 1,000 people to watch us on the night. Although anybody that does watch us, if you want a reading, put a message in the chat room and we'll give you the link and you can come on and get a reading. Okay, so back to our topic of conversation.
All
Who's
right,
next?
African traditional religions.
Okay, well, I really am out of my.
They're all so very different. Some of them embrace mediumship, and some of them forbid it.
Yeah.
There's too many. Because like voodoo and hoodoo come from the African religions. I don't know which ones, but a mishmash of that. And they do believe they believe they talk to spirits all the time.
Yeah, agreed.
So
And,
that, yeah.
I mean, I'll be blunt. Apart from watching a few James Bond movies, I have no idea about. Apologies to the world out there, but I have no idea about African religions. So
I actually do, because my grandfather was a writer and studied African religion and folklore.
okay,
So yeah.
is he available for a guest appearance?
He unfortunately has passed a very long time ago.
Debbie,
But if you want to bring him up,
yeah, that's what I'm
sure
saying.
he'd love to talk.
Is he available for a guest appearance? We are mediums.
Probably.
Okay, so we're scraping the bowl now. New religious movements. That's basically. I mean, I suppose that even includes spiritualism, actually.
It includes spiritualism. It includes neo-paganism, the New Age religions.
Theosophists. Who the hell are theosophists? Have been accused of promoting.
Theosophy was. Gosh, that was in the late 1800s. I don't remember.
Okay, same time as mediumship then.
Yeah. I don't know a lot about it. I vaguely remember reading something about it. So, but New Age religions and the newer ones probably are way more open to mediumship.
Yeah. Okay. So, being through the list of the major religions, let's get back to the big bugbear, Christianity.
Oh yeah.
Now, we've discussed this before in the last two talks about religion. I suppose I'm actually going to look at this from a different angle. This is something that Debbie and I actually discovered when we were, well, Debbie's in America, but when the two of us were on our grand tour of Western New York and Toronto, we went to Lilydale and we actually got speaking to some of the people in Lilydale. There's been about 4 or 5 books actually published about Lilydale, all of which I bought and all of which are sitting collecting dust on my bookshelf because I haven't had time to read them.
No, I read them.
Too busy setting up AI. But there was one thing that was actually quite interesting from the opening chapter of one of the books about Lilydale. Basically, go back to when the Fox Sisters, etc., were starting up. Spiritualism was just as big in America as it was in Great Britain and has remained in Great Britain. But it then went like that in terms of numbers, total decline. And Debbie and I were sort of debating why. And the obvious statement that came out was because of the number of Christian, I'm going to say, crazy Christian religions that America has, harbors, and I know I'm going to get stoned for that. And I'm not trying to weeds.
I think some are a little nuts, yeah.
But a lot of these, especially the evangelist and that style in Christianity, are totally crazy against mediumship.
Oh, yes. Because the Bible says not to.
Yeah. But the Bible also says I can stone you to death if you commit certain
and you shouldn't mix fabrics and never charge interest on a loan. And what are some other things? I mean, yeah, there's a lot of them.
Honestly, and I mean, please, people, I'm being sarcastic here. I can also own people as slaves.
Exactly.
It says so in the Bible.
It says so in the Bible.
Yeah, all of which is, of course, complete and total utter nonsense.
Oh yes.
I've told you this story before about Gamery. Gamery, it's a Scottish village.
Mm-hmm.
Way up north. I mean, it's about as far north as you can get on the Scottish coast. Built on a cliff. The people that live and the village is built literally on the hill of the cliff. It's a sort of road that zigzags down the cliff. And the houses at the bottom are occupied by the fishermen, and the houses at the top are occupied by the people that work on the farms.
Right, because
And
the farms are up there and the fishermen are down by the. Okay.
And never the twain do the two. I mean, I'm being sarcastic, but
Yeah.
never the twain do the two communities mix. Except that there are 6 churches in this village, and the road literally zigzags down the cliff face, the hill, and on each zigzag there's a different church. Now, I've got a friend that lives there. I won't mention her by name in case she's watching this. But when she was growing up in this village, she wasn't even allowed to do anything on a Sunday because the churches were so extreme. They couldn't they couldn't do a washing. They couldn't hang the washing out. They couldn't. I mean, it wasn't as bad as you couldn't eat a meal, but it was borderline that bad. So there's churches like that everywhere, even here in Scotland.
Oh yeah, there's some very conservative, but people who.
Can we say? Can we just clarify that's conservative with a small c? Because I am.
Yes, with conservative religions. Conservative religions, not conservative people, like conservative in politics. No.
Yeah. And on that happy note, since we've now insulted everybody on the planet, either because of politics or religion, if you're watching this, when you're watching this, people, thanks for watching. Patrick's saying hello. Hi, Patrick.
Hi, Patrick.
Prove that somebody did watch us.
I guess so. We missed that somehow.
Yeah, sorry, we were too busy talking. So that's time to roll it up again tonight. We're coming up for a half hour. We've got a circle to run. I should have said at the beginning, if you want to come to the circle tonight, let us know now because Patrick sent an email before after we cut off point, and we didn't see it till after the circle had started. That's about it, really. So it's been a pleasure. We'll be talking.
I hope we weren't too controversial.
I hope we were. That's the whole point.
Actually, yes. We're trying to be controversial, but I hope we didn't offend us.
We're doing our final talk on religion on Sunday. Very appropriate to be doing it on Sunday. Then we're moving on to even more topical questions, specifically about mediumship. We've got 5 of them coming up, and that's going to take us into the beginning of January. And I am also planning on doing cards with Mark Stewart Medium, which is a little bit different, which I'll tell you about next week. Other than that, thank you for your time. There's another video coming.
And we will see you on Sunday.
Same time, 10:30 UK. Oh God,
which is 5:30 Eastern, 4:30 Central, 3:30 Mountain, and 2:30 Pacific.
No, it's 6:30 Eastern. No, you're right. Sorry, it's 5:30. Sorry, ignore me. Pay attention to her. And on that confusing note, good night.
Good night.